Hey everybody, so today I'm going to talk about making some red chili, some killer red chili, using your New Mexico red chili pots. Not the Colorado stuff, it's got to be for New Mexico. So what you want to do is you want to, well of course you want to get your red chili, buy it. So step number one is once you get home, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your stem, break it off, discard it, shake out some of the seeds. You're not going to get them all, so we're just going to start with some, because once you cook them, they're going to come out and whatnot. And then once you're done on another step, you can just go ahead and strain all the seeds out. So what you're going to do is once you get your bag of chili and you deseed it, you're going to end up with looking like your chili like that. So once you get that bag processed, I'll take you to the next step. Alright, so next what you want to do is once you get your chili, you want to give it a good rinse. Of course, you're going to have more than this. You're going to have a whole bag. But you can do one or two things. You can either put it in the pot, fill it with water, rinse it out real good, and then you're going to want to fill it up again. But you just want to give them a good rinse. Try to get like a lot of the dust and stuff off that comes through shipping. And then once you get your whole bag rinsed, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to transfer it to your pot. Alright, so you got your chili in your pot, so what you're going to want to do from there is you're going to want to go ahead and cover it with water. Once you get it covered with water, you're going to want to get it on your stove and get it to boil. Alright, so once you get this guy boiling, you want to at least boil it to, I'd say, a half hour or 45 minutes. You want to make sure that all your chili it'll start to get like almost like a orangish kind of color, brighter red. Make sure it's fully rehydrated. And then what you're going to do from there is you're going to transfer to the blender and do a whole lot of blending. Alright guys, so next step you're going to do is we're going to get to blending. But before you blend, I like to add a couple ingredients to the blender. And a lot of this stuff is, the proportions are basically by taste. I honestly, I don't measure, I just kind of go by as is. First ingredient, you're going to want to put some salts. Second ingredient, you're going to want to add some garlic. If you can use fresh, that's better. If not, you can use garlic, granulated garlic. If you don't have any fresh, use granulated garlic. I don't recommend garlic powder. Garlic salt, the only thing with garlic salt is your salt and it's not gonna be right. You're gonna overdo it. So I use your garlic and your salt separately. Also, you're gonna want to add some oregano. If you got fresh, use fresh, even better. And sugar. People say, why do you put sugar? Well, what the sugar does, it kind of counteracts the acid that's in chili. Sometimes people make chili and it's got like a bitter taste to it. So you want to add a little bit of sugar into your blender and mix all that stuff in there. Not a whole lot of sugar. I'll show you actually how much I add. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the red chili that I have. I just pulled it off the stove. As you can see, that thing's still steaming pretty hot. We're going to go ahead and transfer that into the blender. And so let me get that in there, and then I'll show you the amounts of seasonings that I use. Alright, so now that you got the chili in the blender, I'm going to add my ingredients. Also, too, a little note to self, if you want hotter chili, use the water that you actually boiled the chili in. If you want it more mild, use just some regular tap water, bottled water, whatever you want. So garlic, I got a good spoonful. Me, I love garlic. I'll probably put a little bit more, honestly. About 2 spoonfuls. People say, ah, it's a lot of garlic, but hey, I like my garlic. Salt. Honestly, salt is going to be to taste, how much ever salt you want. You can always add more salt later. So you can start with a little bit and then add from there. Maybe I don't know. I'm not good at measuring, honestly. I couldn't tell you. I want to say that's maybe 2 teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon. Like I said, it's all to taste. You can always add it later. Some oregano. And like I said, sugar. Sugar is just basically it's gonna be to counteract the acid in the chili. So it's up to you if you just want to use. I would suggest using a spoon, or you can use it by the pinch. Maybe just a tad bit more. But also too, I still got more chili to blend. So that's going to be, what I just put is basically going to be for almost 2 blenderfuls of chili. So like I said, if you want it hotter, use the water that you boiled the chili in. And then from there, it's time to get blending. So it's going to get loud. Of course, I'm going to just start this, and then I'll turn it off while I blend it. But you want to blend it for a good, at least a good 5 minutes. You want to make sure it's nice and liquidy. You don't want no chunks in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going, and then I'll show you what it looks like before I transfer it to the pot. Alright, if you guys can see that, it's nice and not chunky at all. It's nice and pureed. Now this next step is optional. What I love to do with my chili is add a little bit of diced meat to it. You can, if you can, I would suggest using some. You can use some pork, or you can use if you got some laying around. You got some deer, some elk, or some antelope. And what you want to do is you want to just take up some of your meat, dice it up, brown it, and then drain any excess grease off of there. And then you can do that while you're waiting for your chili to boil or whatever. So what you're going to do is actually, once you get that going, you're going to go ahead and add your chili to your meats. Like I said, this is just optional. You don't have to have meat in your chili. I think it makes it more better myself. It's really good. So what you're going to do is basically pour your blended chili on top of your meat. And what you're going to do from there is you're going to let that simmer. But also you want to go ahead and finish blending up all your other chili you have as well. So I'm going to get that transferred over to the blender. Get that blended up. Also, you won't have to add any more seasoning. You shouldn't have to, because you put a lot of that already in your first blender batch. So let me go ahead and get that started, and then blend it up, and then put it into the pan as well. Alright, once you got all your chili blended up, add it to your meat. I would say let it simmer for at least a good half hour. Let all those flavors kick in. If you want more tender meat, you want to let it simmer for a little bit longer. I like the consistency of to where at least enough to coat the spoon. Let's see, hold on. It's nice and see, good stuff right there. Nice, good consistency. If you want it thicker, simmer a little bit longer. add less water when you're blending. If you want it thinner, you can add more water. It just depends on what you want. And then from here you can taste it if you need, or if you want to add more salts, more sugar, to take away some of that bitterness. Garlic, love garlic. You can always add more garlic, but if you put too much, you can't take it out. That's why you can always just put a little bit at a time to your liking. So I hope try this recipe, add it to your recipes or whatever. Add this to your Thanksgiving table, especially on top of some mashed potatoes. Good stuff. Hope you guys liked the video. Please feel free to comment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps out the channel. More recipes to come. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks.